So I thought I was going to be very nervous coming up here and talking about what I do, because I never talk about it in front of anyone. But it wasn't until I took my own advice and kind of let go of the outline and plan I had for this to just talk to you about how I do what I do. So when I first decided to move out, I waited for optimal timing when I moved out for the first time on my own. I had just quit, so I didn't have a job. I had minimal savings, and I had a new company that was still in need of branding, funding, and jobs. So what did I do? I bought a ticket to Valencia and joined Remote Year. It sounds like I'm kidding when I say it was optimal timing, but really it was the best thing I could have done, because when I got here, I kid you not, I had not a single idea of my next step, and all that did for me was open up a world of opportunities that I wouldn't have been open to otherwise and wouldn't have had the time or space for in my plan. So why I wanted to talk to you about it today is because I'm very passionate about where it's gotten me. It's gotten me here, first of all. And I talk to so many people every day with incredible ideas. And the main problem I hear from them is that they're stuck. There's no room in the plan that they've created to take the steps that they want to. They have a plan, but it's a little bit different than what they've set out to do, what they've been told that they need to follow. And the best advice I can offer is that you kind of need to start with what you know and what you love. I know I want to tell stories. I want to tell them around the world, and I want to help other people tell their stories. So when I first got here, the first steps I took were to kind of address the three things that I would need to see every day when I got out of bed. And the first thing was that I was going to have to keep an open mind. I was going to have to be hyper aware of every single thing around me. I always say that the two favorite places I have in the world are the places where you get that fulfilling excitement that you can't find anywhere else. You know that excitement where you know you've caught something. It's on the horizon, you're comfortable in the fact that it's there, but you just don't know what it is yet, so you still have that excitement. And those two places are the airport and the grocery store. Now, the airport's pretty obvious. You've literally got a portal to anywhere you want to go in the world. Anywhere. And the grocery store, same thing. You can craft whatever you want, and you are welcome to go into both of those places with an itinerary. You can walk in with a plane ticket, you can walk in with a grocery list, but you're just as welcome to put those in your pocket and go somewhere else. So, what do you do with that when you hit a new city? Well, I find it very easy, especially in a city where I don't really speak the language, to hop in an Uber car and sit. Say, hi, how are you? Which I've been told is very weird to ask here. I don't know why that's a weird question, but I was told that's a weird question. But that's usually my default. But yesterday, I got into a car. He asked how my day was, and I asked one extra question. I think it was how long he had been living here. And somehow that sparked a conversation, and I rolled with it. And what I found out was that this guy works around the corner doing videos, music videos in Lisbon. And it sparked an entire conversation about how we tell stories and how, as shy individuals, this was a way for us to open up and share our stories and work with people. And it's a conversation I wouldn't have had I stayed on my phone, had I not been looking for opportunities to take every interaction, every sign, every new food, every little spark in the back of my head, you know, when that little light bulb goes off, but you're like, I gotta get where I gotta go, forget it. You gotta keep those in mind. And I saw one of those as soon as he said something about video, and now I've got an Instagram direct message to work with. But that leads me to the next step of following through. If you're gonna go with this unplanned, which I've endearingly termed it, is you're now running off your gut. And you've gotta follow through on those little emails, those little text messages. You gotta stay up 10 minutes later and reach out to that person, or go down the street to that local business where you've got an idea of how you might be able to help them. When I first started out, I researched plans. I talked to my parents, I talked to career advisors, I talked to professionals. I went to LA, like you're supposed to. And I've always wanted to be a videographer and a cinematographer, and that alone is kind of a crazy job to tell your parents you want to do. They were great about it, thankfully. But then I started adding other things onto it. I wanted to be a director, which everyone told me I had to pick one. Camera, directing, audio, you pick one path and you stick to it. And then I wanted to travel with it. And Hollywood didn't like my goals. It didn't like my rules. So I had to find my own. And what I found was that while there's a ton of plans out there in finance, in corporate, there's a million ladders you can climb, in travel, in the creative industry, they're not individualized. They've been tried for years and years and years, and they're massaged out, and they've got a million different ways you can go, but they're still not for me, or for you, or for you, because they weren't made with your goals in consideration. They weren't made with your fears, with your passions, with your challenges, because they haven't all happened yet. There's no way they could be, but there's things to be taken for them. Believe me, I am happy I am not the person that had to figure out how to do taxes internationally. I never want to figure that out. That's one thing I can take and put in my toolbox. But there's things all down the road, and I'm picking up puzzle pieces along the way. And what that leads me to is, how do I actually get those things done? Because you've got a million ideas a day, a million ideas, and what you need to find is the passion that drives you to do it. And that might not be your dream job. I understand that not everyone has the privilege or the ability to chase that one thing that they've always wanted, but there's something that's driving what you do, whether it's supporting your family, whether it's finding that next step, whether it's finding a way to travel the world with a group of people for 12 months, or on your own. There's something that's driving you, and those are the things that are going to keep you up those extra 2 hours at night. Those are the things that are going to make you get on that plane. It's going to make you try that weird food that's going to make you look at a new friend in a different light and maybe consider something more than a greeting with them. It's going to make you look at that text message that your friend sends you saying, here's a link, this looks like something you might do. And that's exactly how I ended up here. I was having one of those 3-tiered conversations, when you're talking about like work and dating and your gym plans for the night. And you're each sending like 3 messages back and forth. So in between dating and gym, there was a link to remote year. And I easily could have clicked on it and been like, all right, yeah, that's cool. But something made me click on it again. Despite the fact that I had a job, despite the fact that I had a relationship that I knew would end if I left, despite the fact that I had minimal funding to even try it. But I knew what my passion was. I knew what was driving me. So I clicked again. I applied. I applied to the next round. I applied to the next round. I bought a plane ticket to Valencia. So what I leave you with is this. Make a plan. I'm not against plans in any way. Let me just clarify that. Make plans. Put them away after. A 5-year plan is great. A 10-year plan is great. 20-year plans, they're great. But don't be so focused on getting to the next step that you miss that 2-year shortcut. You miss that portal to get you to an entirely different world that you didn't even know you had an option to before. You've got to leave a little bit of room for the magic, as I was told today. Thank you.